like that play where he got that goal. It's just like he
must have watched The Secret. Welcome to amorephillyunion, the podcast where we swear to talk about the Philly Union, the whole Philly Union, and nothing but the Philly Union, with as few digressions as possible. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
I'm Nate.
and I'm E.
And once again, we're live, post-game podcast recording. Another opportunity to stop on their way home and make a quick recording. And well, I don't know how quick it's going to be, but we'll see.
This is a more Philly Union after hours.
All right, a couple of housekeeping points. Google Podcasts is now the most common way for listeners that tune into the podcast.
Woohoo! I guess one is into Google.
I mean, do we have what's the numbers like? One versus the other, like percentage wise. How many more people percentage wise? Like, is it like 30 to 20 kind of a download, or
we
that many downloads per episode? To be honest,
Google Chrome is. Between Google Podcasts and Google Chrome, that's over half of our downloads.
Okay.
And
so people might be listening to us in their browser, or they might be downloading it.
Apple Podcasts is trailing behind by roughly a factor of 2 to 1, but
just curious.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yeah.
We do our international tour continues. We now have a download from Switzerland.
Yeah.
First Poland, now Switzerland.
Yeah, we are.
Today, Switzerland, tomorrow, the world.
We're expanding our brand.
Thank you for listening all the way over to Switzerland. Yeah. Also, welcome to our new Delaware and Connecticut listeners. Appreciate people starting to download from elsewhere. I can't help but wonder if we're related to any of them. But
right.
And we are currently up to 355 total downloads since we started the website and on Podbean. Right now, I guess besides Pennsylvania, we've got two other states that are kind of in tight competition for that second place: California and Virginia.
Yeah, so it's tight. I think it's like one download difference between the two. So. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Virginia, California, you will reign supreme.
2 states enter. 1 state leaves. So, we're up to 355 downloads. So, thank you, everybody. We're over a third of our way to our goal of help us, help the you.
Yeah, let's do it.
It is now almost June. We're almost June.
This close.
We're 25 minutes away from June.
We're on the clock to June.
Yeah.
So if we get another 650 downloads in June in the next couple of weeks, that could be quite a significant outlay for us to contribute to the Union Foundation. We'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, they're gonna bank some money. Although it's a big challenge. We'll see.
Only 650. We only have to double what we've already got.
Yeah, right.
This is the 15th episode. No?
This is episode 15. Yeah,
it's kind of a milestone, but I mean, we're 15 episodes into this. There's what 355 downloads.
Are you gonna do this calculation?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm really not.
No, we're
it's 11:30 at night. Let's see whose brain cells are still kicking it around.
The brain cells are dead.
Yeah.
I mean, we're averaging over 20 downloads an episode. I think this week was like 24. So
and we get about 7 to 10 views on YouTube.
We are small but mighty.
We're small but mighty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we keep doing this consistently. People will start, find us, and it's tough with these midweek games though, because we do want to try to do it after the midweek games, but it's oftentimes difficult to do it. But I appreciate you guys stopping off. So let's start talking about the 2 games. We have 2 games to cover this week, and I'll just 2 Union wins.
Yeah, man.
It was great. They travel up to NYCFC to play in the Mets Stadium, City Field.
The trapezoid.
The trapezoid.
Curtin in his presser said he actually walked out there and he paced the field. It's the same size field as what they would put on the Yankee Stadium. Is 70 by 110, which is the minimum size that FIFA recognizes as a soccer field. But man, it looked terrible with that fakes, that sod that they had laid down over the infield. And I mean, like, I'm just surprised nobody hurt themselves playing up there.
It looked very much like flooring. Like wood floor.
Oh, flooring.
Excuse me. Fluorine. So,
I was like,
Fluorine. Yeah. Where's that on the periodic table?
I didn't realize the Philly Action extended the word fluorine.
Does everybody know if New York City's going to ever get their own
They
stadium?
are.
They are.
They have announced this week that they are a site agreed upon for a soccer specific stadium in New York City. You know, when will it open? It's like 2027 or something like that. The predicted opening days for it, but
trying to think.
They say where is it going to be out towards Long Island?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that? That's fine. That's fine. I know there was talk at one point, early days, of it being closer to like past Queens towards Long Island.
To give NYCFC their credit, they are trying to keep it actually in one of the five boroughs. As opposed to New York Red Bulls, who just gave up on that idea and just moved to Jersey.
Right.
But at least they got their own stadium.
I was just about to ask about that. I was like, I know it's supposed to be our nemesis or something. I don't know what I deal with the Red Bulls these days.
They'd only be our nemesis if they really stood a chance against the Union.
Yeah. There's no way that could ever come back to bite us.
Ow. I can taste the deja vu that's going to
there you go.
in the future.
Going into the game, just quick, one interesting stat was that New York City had lost the game at Citi Field.
Yep.
Until this past weekend.
Yeah, they were like 4-0-2 or something like that at Citi Field.
Yeah.
They had not yet lost there.
Yeah.
And the Union came in, played their 3-5-2. Bedoya's still out with his injury. I have a feeling it was mostly that made Jim decide to go with the 3-5-2, and they haven't lost when they rolled out that formation.
Yeah, I'm liking this 3-5-2. Also, they mentioned that this was the same exact lineup for the New England game, both in players and in formation.
Okay.
So I guess if it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't know. But yeah, so same formation and players starting.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how many Union fans made the trip, but it looked like they were well represented. And they were in the lower section of the stadium. And I don't know why they got those seats in particular, but it seemed like a mistake to put them right behind the goal.
I like to think that the seats that they actually got were farther up, and they just made their way down.
They got there, and they're like, there's some open seats down there. We can really do some damage down there.
Well, in the earlier days of MLS, it was very easy to do that. You would buy one set of tickets, stay there for the first half. Excuse me, and then in the second half it was a free-for-all and you could completely move around. We did that a number of times before Philadelphia had a team and we went other places, so we got some pretty good seats.
I don't think they would do that nowadays, especially with the traveling supporter section, just from a security standpoint. But it was kind of neat to see, and you could hear the Union fans on broadcast. At various points in there, and we can talk about them as we get through it. So it was a 3-5-2/5-3-2, depending on where Wagner and Bizo were. And then it's not a very big field. It's still 110 yards long, but it was back and forth, and it just seemed that you were either on one side or the other. It's almost watching tennis. And then Martinez made that mistake and gave the ball away deep in the Union half. And they got a quick turnover. Watching the recap, watching the replays, I don't know that it would have been called for a PK, but one way or the other, they found Pereira, who was wide open out to the NYC's right, and he just put it back, curved it around Blake, and Blake didn't really have a chance at it. I mean, to be fair, Pereira had a good game. This was a good game for Pereira.
Yeah, I agree.
He got the one goal. He put one off the crossbar or the upright earlier in the game, and he was threatening all night long. So NYC took that goal. When was that in that?
30th minute was the first goal. Yeah.
And they look dangerous. It looks like it could have gotten worse.
Yep.
The Union kept going into the half. So the Union down a goal, 30 minutes into the half. They didn't look like they were out of ideas.
No.
But, they were just having trouble finding that producing that shot.
I think my soccer memory is kind of like that. I've heard that saying about people who, oh gosh, how's it go? Basically, I'm an expert on the most recent book that I read, and I forget everything else. And I feel like that's kind of similar, but I'm just reviewing my notes here. But it does feel like when New York got that goal and they were up, right, 1-0, that game and this game, the game from tonight, the Union don't play. It's great. They don't play reactive soccer anymore. They are trying to execute their plan on the field. And there's both of these games, I wasn't worried, right? I mean, it's exciting.
It's kind of how it's felt all season.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, well, given our current record of our 8 games so far, has been a great run. But anyway, I made a point. It's like the Unions really seem to be getting good at that quick transition counter style, but there's a lot of small stuff that happens on the field, like heel flips, quick little 1-2 passes, and it's just that lovely accuracy and just move.
At the beginning of the season, there was a little too much of that. They've gotten better the last few games of knowing where the balance, better knowing where the balance is.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know what it was that Elliott decided to do, but, in first half stoppage time, he just decides to bypass the midfield and play a long ball because he's got the foot for it.
Yeah.
And credit to Carranza. I mean, he judges that flight of that ball a little bit better than a defender, controls it off of his chest into the open space and just powers it past the keeper.
This game, the New York City game, Carranza was in the zone. Like the way he just played like he knew everything was gonna just go the way he wanted it to go. I mean, of course, shots wide and all, but like that play where he got that goal, it's just like he
must have watched The Secret. Or his Jedi training kicked in. I start with that one.
Yeah, he just there's that belief that you can see on the field, and it's such a good thing to see.
But yeah, I mean, that first goal was just he found a little space between the two defenders. He kind of waved his arm around. Jack had his head up, so made a great pass. And Carranza's that control off the chest was amazing.
Just to bring it down like that.
And then as soon as he had that 2 yards of space, you knew he was going to put it on frame.
Getting to your point about the Sons of Ben presence, you could hear on TV the chants going, "We can't hear you," right after that goal.
I momentarily forgot that it was not
a home
game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Looking down and then not thinking about it.
Well, I mean, especially because less than 2 minutes later, they did it all over again.
Yep.
Blake makes a quick, gets his hands on the ball.
This is off a New York City corner kick.
Was it off the corner?
Start off of their corner kick.
He lays it out to Martinez, and I think it was Martinez's first or second touch. He plays it long. Looked like it was going to go to Gazdag, but Gazdag kind of peeled off of his run because Ura had a favorable position. So Ura gets on the ball. They got 2 defenders in front of him. He's got Gazdag making a curling run to his left, and then he gets his head up and he sees Carranza coming into the middle of the field on his right, and Ura just plays an easy first class ball to Carranza, and Carranza once again just blasts it past the keeper.
Yeah, and at that point, Carranza had the swagger going. I mean, not in a
no.
Like he was playing confident. They all played those three guys, Oros, Carranza, and Gazdag, right? I knew we came up with the name for them before, but whatever. I'm calling them the Three Amigos, right? Just the triangle of death. That's right. That's what we called it.
TOD.
Yeah. The TOD.
TOD.
It's so great seeing that. And Paul, you mentioned this, and I noticed tonight's game and this game, how fast Ura is. Like, he's fast. Like, I remember when he first started playing for us, speed wasn't the first thing that came to mind when I had to describe him. But these past couple of games, man, he's getting right behind those defenders.
He's the fastest guy on the Union team.
Yeah, yeah.
So we instead of going to halftime down 1-0, the Union ended up going to halftime down ahead 2-1.
And the whole vibe of the game just upended.
Yeah,
upended. Yeah.
In the words of Men in Blazers, NYCFC scored too early.
Yes.
So
exactly.
To yet again quote Men in Blazers, and also I'm struck listening to you two talk about Carranza and how in the zone he seemed. There was an old 30 Rock plot about the unwarranted confidence of the handsome and beautiful people of the world. So they sort of lived in a different world than the rest of us because others catered to them. I don't think that's what's happening here. Clearly he has the skills, but I can't help but think of it. So shout out to any 30 Rock fans out there who know what I'm talking about.
Well, stats at the half, very typical. Pretty much the New York City is out possessioning us, out shooting us, out shots on goals on us. But first off, we have Andre Blake, so that's just a moot point.
I mean,
but we're up 2-1. It's this drunken master way of playing. We let the other teams do the work, and we just bend that momentum around. I know I'm getting really hyperbolic about this, but it's just
Belichick years back, coach for the Patriots. One of his famous things was take what the other team will give you, and as long as you don't make the mistakes and you just take advantage of what they give you, you'll win most of your games.
Yeah,
and I think the Union have they've gotten down their defense. Their team is confident and they're playing that way. I mean. Almost too much, but at times it feels like, all right, guys, you could probably make the pass, a half second sooner, and we'd be better off.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. It's just they're playing with confidence. They're feeling good. They're having fun. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago.
Well, tonight's game, there were a couple of times on the jumbotron or whatever. And they're like zooming in on some players, and they're
smiling.
Especially Martinez is just smiling. And it's just like, all right, it's good when he's out there, smiling. It's like that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a great sign.
It's the Martinez metric. It's like so we're clocking over 3 smiles in this game. This is a good sign.
So getting back to the NYC game, then second half starts. Union keeps going. And
Carranza, man, he's just causing so much havoc.
What was a combination in like the 53rd minute or something like that, where it was another long ball up the top, or gets a flick on header to get it past and up the field. So it's just Carranza versus, I think it was Thiago Martins. And they just tangle up and they keep tangling up, and Carranza goes into the box. He knows where he's at, and he goes down.
And this is the one that was right on the line. And
it kept going. That was the thing. The foul starts outside the box, but he continues through into the box, and that's why he gets called for the PK.
Yeah.
And this is in particular because it was a VAR situation. This is where you could really hear the Union, the fans, basically calling out for a dog so red. I forget exactly what they were saying. Something along the lines of "Ref, I think you got it wrong" or something like that. And they were asking for a red card, and said that the referee, you could actually hear on the broadcast talking through the decision he had to make.
Yeah, that was interesting. That's the first time I've ever encountered that, and I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was
that play.
I like that too. Yeah.
Because it was, the dog show or denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
Okay.
And the reason why they didn't go with their dog show call in a red was because the touch wasn't towards goal. It was slightly away from goal. So therefore it wasn't, questionable whether or not that's true, but one way or the other, the Union got a PK out of the play. Carranza apparently did pick up the ball because he wanted to get his hat trick. And what was that?
Can you blame him for that? Like, you're 2 goals into this. You're the one who got your team the penalty. You feel like you want this. Like, at that point, you just want the hat trick.
It's was that from replacements, right? Winners want the ball.
Give me the ball.
I got you the ball.
Yeah. So, and Curtin actually talked about that in his press conference afterwards. And, Carranza won it. Gazdag was going to let him, but the coaches actually signaled from the sideline that they wanted Gazdag to take it. I mean, the man is perfect.
He's like our specialist
in PK. He has not missed a PK in his entire time here in the MLS. So, he steps up. Once again, I don't know what he does that makes the keepers guess wrong. But I mean, he basically, kung fu'd the guy to get jive. He dived the wrong way. I don't know, some sort of mental gamemanship or some sort. Gets the NYC keeper diving to his right, and he just powers it into the left. Not even that far off to the left. If the guy literally just stood there and waited for him to make the contact, he probably could have made the save. Something about Gazdag just gets him going the wrong way.
Gazdag would win the battle of wits with the poison cups of wine.
Just thank God it's not a stutter step because
stutter step.
No.
Yeah. So
at that point, we're up 3-1 now. Yeah. Then the game got a little choppier. We got some yellow cards for New York City, and then they were subbing in to try to get the control over this game. One of the subs I kind of enjoyed was Jason, I don't know how to pronounce it, Jasson, or Seagal, because there's Jason.
Oh, Jason Seagal.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I was just thinking that Carranza must be hell in his indoor league since he did so well on this field since.
Yeah, he's 5 slides to you. Yeah. Even then, we're like, man, that's a pretty tight field.
But yeah, the Union ended up seeing out the game 3-1 for the final call. I mean, we all predicted the victory, so good on us.
I think, Paul, you nailed it, right?
Yeah.
You actually called the 3-1. So what do you win?
Nothing. I got a no prize. Got a whole shelf full of no prizes.
Yeah.
We got Snickers bar. You want a Snickers bar?
There you go. One of the things I noticed was the stats as reported on the MLS website is different than the stats reported on Apple TV.
Right.
I mean, it's not off by much, but it's still
some of it was pretty significant.
Was it?
When you were telling me about it, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was like the number of passes was like significantly different, like 25% difference. So this is the 4th straight win for the Union in the Union New York City FC.
Cool.
I don't want to say rivalry, but matchups.
Yeah.
I mean, this one does have a bit of bite to it because of the whole Eastern Conference final, the COVID game.
Yeah.
Where basically we had to start. Well, we had 9 players missing for that game. I think 6 of them were starters.
That's right.
And it's like, all right, so that's the end. Instead of waiting a couple of days to host that game, they had to play it in Philadelphia with a bunch of second string and not non-starters.
Right.
And they still almost won it. And then but now there's still a little bit of a chip on their shoulder.
Right.
So so 3-1 victory on Saturday. It sees the Union to 4th place in the division in the Eastern Conference, I believe. And then they have to host Charlotte on Wednesday.
Charlotte coming in, they were in 7th place, I believe. Yeah,
sounds right.
Yeah, I think they were in 7th place.
And the last time I think that the Union played Charlotte in Philly, I think it was. We lost 4-0.
Oof. Hit our own medicine.
Yeah, it was all 4 goals were scored by one player who's no longer on Charlotte, but they got Derek Jones. They got Derek Jones, who's used to be a homegrown player for the Union. He plays defensive midfield. Good player, but he just wasn't getting time here in Philly. So and apparently there were some locker room issues. Probably partially because of that, he wasn't getting starting time. So he moved to Nashville, and then now he's at Charlotte. He's actually playing pretty well. Even in this game today, I noticed him. I mean, he was all over the place. He was in Gajdag's face for most of the game. I was impressed with how well he did on the ball. And I'd say this game, I don't know about what you saw. There seemed to be a lot more space out there. Like they were getting the ball in a lot more space. So the Union rolled out their 3-5-2 again.
Was it the same lineup for the New York City game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Aura, Gajdag, and Carranza up top. Flock and Martinez in the defensive midfield spots. Wagner and Mbaizo out wide, and then Lowe, Elliott, and Glesnes, and then of course our stalwart captain Blake in net. So it was the same lineup.
And Allie's still out for this game. Yeah.
Unsurprising. This first half, the Union were making good use of that long ball.
The first minute.
Well, we got to the game 15 minutes late.
Okay. In the first minute, they had this real good connective play down the left side. Flock got a really nice touch, drove the ball into the box, played it back to Carranza, who was about 15 yards out, and he had a nice wide open net to shoot at. And he put it off the crossbar. If he had just been 6 inches down, it would have been in, and the place would have been rocking even before you got there. The Union just looked on the front foot, but credit to Charlotte, they stayed in it. They had a game plan. They forced the game to go where they wanted it to.
A good game.
It was a good game. It was, an entertaining, competitive game.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, basically what you said. It was super close.
Yeah.
Very evenly matched. And a lot, at certain points, not less so, but it was no blowout on either side, obviously.
And I made a note in the first 20 minutes. Well, actually, it must have been not even like the first, since we got there a little late.
Yeah.
But within that, like the next 5-10 minutes, there were 3 attempts at the long ball. And every one of them were finding either like Aura or Carranza at the end. And it's just so nice to see, because I remember like years ago, right? It was that whole the MLS long ball, right? It just felt like it was like 4th grade defender just sending the ball down the field. Maybe you got a guy down there to get to it, or maybe not. It's just like this kind of wasted effort. And I remember just getting so frustrated. Like, guys, why do you keep just bombing the ball down the field for nothing? You're just basically turning it over to their team on their end of the field. Play that pass. But now it's like the Union figured out how to make the long ball work, and they just, so in those first 5-10 minutes that we were there were at least 3 attempts at the long ball, but everyone was effective. One might have been offside or something like that, but now you see the long ball, it's like, it's exciting. Like, all right, what's going to happen?
I'm pretty sure that's called Route 1, right? That's like,
yes.
So I remember that, like, they kept saying that they're trying the Route 1 again.
They call it Route 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Route 1 accents.
Oh.
But also, I think speaking of offsides, this is another time to hate on the real offsides thing. We're calling it after the play.
Oh, the flag. Oh,
was there something late?
Flags?
I still don't understand that.
Yeah, Aura made a great run. And Wagner got a nice ball to him. Aura scored that one. I believe that was in the first half.
Yeah, it was around
that one. And, as soon as it went in, I'm like, there's going to be a flag. And I didn't say anything, but I was worried about it. And sure enough, a flag goes up. And it's like, once again, I get that they want to be deliberate and they don't want to make the call too soon and break something. But if you're pretty confident you're going to call them offside before they score a goal, just do it before they take the shot.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
It's like your hopes like soar with that, and then they just die as you see that flat come up 5 seconds after the play is over.
Absolutely. And for me, it was like this down, up, down, because I was like, I saw Aura making that run, and the ball gets passed. I'm like, he's offside, but they didn't call it. I'm like, oh wait, he's not offside, and it goes in, and it's like,
and then the music starts,
the music kicks in,
and then
all of a sudden the flag is. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And then you can almost hear it like a music box winding down.
Yeah, that was a little frustrating, but even with those called off goals, the Union were playing again. You could see they were trying to actualize their plan. There was this cohesive strategy. They were playing their game,
and it was interesting because both teams tried to possess the ball and pass it out of pressure. Both teams did. Now, where they were looking to play the pressure seemed to be a little different. The Union seemed to be willing to play the ball with their defenders a little more, and whereas Charlotte was trying to get it more in their defensive part of their midfield, around Eric Jones. But both teams were looking to, they absorbed the pressure early because both teams were pressing, but then they would, get it to where they wanted and try to build it up the field.
I think this 3-back this 3-5-2 with the 3 defenders, Lowe, Lesnes, and Elliott. They're effective. Like Elliott, how many of those long passes were coming from Elliott? And Lesnes was running up the field a lot of times.
So was Lowe.
Yeah, and Lesnes actually got off a shot today. Because every time it's just like
he's like 45 yards away. And he's maybe on our side of the field, just like slightly on our side of midfield, and you'll hear some people enough that you can hear it. What year was that again?
Who?
Let's just got the shot that now that makes everyone say shoot. What year was that?
He did that. It was in 2019. He scored the 1 goal against LAFC, and then it was 2020. I think he scored the overtime goal against NYC or New York Red Bull.
Yes, it's been like 3 years since he's done that, and we still every time.
I gotta imagine when he's out about in town, he's at a restaurant, and people recognize him. They don't yell Lesnes or hey, they go shoot.
Well, apparently people get jerseys with his number and shoot across the back of it. I'm not making that up.
That's awesome.
That's
But halftime came and went at 0-0. It was an entertaining game, and one of the things I really noted in the second half in particular, Martinez and Flock started to play a lot more freely in that defensive midfield role. They would attack more, they would get in, especially later on in the game. I mean, Martinez was making give and goes with Gazdag and running it up the field, and close to the end of the game, there was actually a give and go that I wish Gazdag had just kept, just took a shot himself rather than try to make the pass again. Yeah. But, I appreciated seeing Martinez making all those runs a lot.
It really felt like the front, our triangle of death was being supported by the midfield and even the Jack Elliott on defense. They were just getting fed all these balls to just take it into the Charlotte end.
There weren't a whole lot of dangerous shots from Charlotte.
No.
Blake had to make a handful of saves in this game, but on the whole, they really didn't threaten too deeply in the Union. But the Union managed to get one of their own.
That was funny because we were watching the game. I'm like, oh, there's goals in this game. And, it wound up only getting the 1, but, maybe if the game went another 15 minutes, it would have busted open even more. Because there were times where the ball just stayed on the Charlotte half of the field. The Union were just attacking from one side and, they rebound out. They get control, bringing it to the other wing, coming that way. It's just like, it was like, a boxer, like cornering their opponent and just going to town. It's just like, you just got to land one,
Well, I mean, just on the landing one, going into this game, they made note, in effect, in the NYC game, they also made note that going into the NYC game, I think like Martin Wagner had like 90 plus crosses. Going into this game, he had like 103 crosses and no goals because of that.
Yeah.
So, around the 70th minute, Union attack. Union were holding a lot of possession in the Charlotte half. Ball goes out wide after a rebound, goes out to Wagner, and Wagner finally gets the ball into the box, finds Gajdag's head, goes off the upright, bounces off the keeper, and into the goal. They actually noted it here as an actual. It's been listed as an own goal.
Yeah, when I saw in the replay, the Gazdag heads it in, it bounces off the upright, or the I guess you call the vertical part of the goal, and then into the keeper, and then into the net. It's like, all right, but that seems a little harsh. At the own goal. It's like that's just it's such a short range, random motion kind of thing. It's like, well, I mean,
Blake would have at least balanced, and changed his mind.
I will say the shot he saved for the save of the game was an extremely dangerous one. Like that could have gone sideways really easily if we didn't have
the one that the Charlie keeper saved.
No, Blake's
the one that from distance they put over the top of the bar.
It's kind of a Glesnes style shot.
No, that was a good one.
That was a bullet of a shot, and Blake just the vertical leap on that guy is impressive, and just it was kind of close. When they showed the replay, was that ball going to go in or not? But it's like Blake's just going to knock it away.
Blake doesn't so much jump as just convince gravity not to hold him down so much.
I mean, I say it last time I was here. There is definitely no bias involved in the making of this podcast. No bias.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
We are 100% objective.
We're talking about Blake like he's like God or something.
Yeah.
Demigod.
He tells gravity that it can take a 5-minute break.
Asks gravity to take a break. Yeah. No. I mean, it was one of the few saves, and whether or not that would have gone in or not, he made the right play.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, the Union finally get a cross that it goes in, and they see out a 1-0 win.
There was that right there towards the end of the game, that missed opportunity by Donovan.
Yes.
This almost felt like a little bit of a repeat with the other goal being called back. Was he gets to the ball, I'm like, oh, he's offside, and they're not calling it. And it's just coming down to him and the keeper. I'm like, and he takes it.
Well, no, Donovan had 2 players running with him. You're thinking of Gajdag, which was called offside.
No.
This is at the end of the game, though.
Yeah, both of these were into the game.
Yeah. Oh, but Donovan his was not offside.
No, his wasn't.
And then, yes, he did have defenders on his heel, but
no, he had 2 Union players in the box, and just across it would have been an easy tap in for either one of them. I don't blame the boy for taking the boy. I mean, because he's half my age. Yeah. He took the shot. Yeah, that was what he should have done.
Well, he got in so close. I'm watching like, you have to take that shot. It just went wide. Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's going to be playing that over and over. Yeah. And like the next few minutes in the game, the dude was hustling. Like he was making up for that.
And from our angle, which is the big asterisk I would put on this, that it looked like it was a shot he should have made. I hate to say that ever, big air quotes there, but it really looked like it was almost a tap in. However, I know I'm sitting in the stands at an angle, but so he clearly felt bad about it, like you said. So.
Yeah.
I mean, we're also not players who just professionally full time for money, but I mean, she does have a point with the asterisks should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have gotten that on frame. He's done this long enough. He should be able to put that, take that shot with either foot and put it on frame to threaten the keeper. Anyway, I'm sure he's upset with himself. He scuffed it. He screwed up, and you can guarantee that both Martinez and Gazdag, who were running into the box, were like, dude, we're right there. It's the 80 some odd minute. We've been playing for this long. We're tired, and we made these runs, and you didn't pass it to us.
Again, Drexel. Just saying.
Keep it scored.
That's two.
30 love. Your serve again. All right. So, yay. Union getting eight positive results in a row. It's crazy.
This record. So we're now the Union move up into third place. And, let's see how long this trajectory runs,
Unprecedented predictions on our part. First of all, that we all said the same thing and we were all right. And that was the Union. That's I think that, much like Jen retiring from Risk after winning, maybe it's time we retire predictions. So
but we all got this one right.
This is the best we've done.
But 15 episodes into this.
Hey.
there was a lot of things aligned, right? All three of us make the same prediction. All three of us are right? And we bump into Jason Kelce. So it's it's pretty we should be buying lottery tickets.
So that's okay. So real quick story. We Ian and I live more than an hour from the stadium, so that is part of our excuse for being late for the game. We mentioned we were late for the game tonight. Wednesday games can be tough to get to, but also we are just chronically late. So there's that too. So can't really blame it all on that. And was kind of devastated to find out that finally Jason Kelce was the honored guest of the match doing the initial pregame drum thing.
Yeah, we missed that.
So, did spot him actually up with the Sons of Ben, so that made up for it. He was doing some drumming up there,
and they were singing the no one likes us. No one likes us.
No one likes us. We don't care. So that was good. That made up for it.
Which I think he actually attended a Union game before they won the Super Bowl, and that's where he heard that and he brought that
or at least encountered a fan or something like that. He borrowed it from us, and
But you also got to get a picture with him.
I may have gotten a picture with him afterwards. So we were stuck in traffic, and Eric noticed that there was a big SUV in front of us, and people seemed to be taking selfies with it. And you don't just take selfies with SUVs, so I ran up.
It didn't even dawn on me that it would have been Kelce. I thought it was like a Union player or something because
no, it was him.
So when you hopped out of the car,
right,
to go up and get a picture, and you came back, I'm like, so who was it? And you're looking at me like, it was Jason Kelce. I'm like, wait, that was Jason Kelce?
I
just thought it was
opportunity.
So
what did you say to him about the podcast? Not our podcast, his podcast.
Oh, I complimented him on his podcast, and that was it. Well, I did say to him that I don't like football, but I like him, which is true. But I mentioned that I liked his podcast, and he actually seemed more interested in that I was a listener.
So we'll have to get him on our show, and we can talk podcasting and stuff like that. And if you have
now that you're best friends with JK, can you?
Clearly in the same league as
as I said to get him to roll down the window of the SUV was Mr. Kelce. So I will say again, Mr. Kelce, if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, you are absolutely welcome at any time. I'll probably be too shy to say anything, but that's okay. Figure it out.
Well, that was kind of cool to get to see him there, and he did pound a beer right after he did the drum. Did he? He had a beer in his back pocket, so he got done pounding the drum, handed the
mallet, whatever.
To whoever was there, and then he pulled out a beer pounded it, threw it into the air.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, as you and I have talked about, Paul, off mic, I don't think we've ever said this, but the two Philly sports figures, current sports figures at least, who are not from Philly, but most embody the Philly ethos.
They're sons of
Jason
Philly.
Kelce and Ali Bedoya.
Yeah.
And so I'm 1 for 2.
There you go.
Well, actually, you're 2 for 3.
Well,
there's the original.
There's the original. That's true.
Sebastian Le2.
Yeah. So I am 2 for 3. If you that is true. I wasn't
2 for 3 on state.
Just because he's
Sebastian Le2. She's met Sebastian Le2,
right.
Jason Kelce. She has yet to meet Ali Bedoya. So hey, Mr. Bedoya, if you're listening,
looks the Vikings lieutenant.
You really want to see somebody be a fool? Come on.
I'm not saying she won't be able to open her mouth and actually talk to you if
Probably
you were
not. Probably not. No.
But that would be awesome.
I mean,
so getting back to the games, one thing I noted in both of these games, the Unions, they're starting to get more aggressive on the attack. But they're starting to understand that if they make the passes early enough, they can start finding their runners. So that means they're getting called for a lot of offside goal. Unfortunately, there's been a couple of goals that have been called back for offside. So hopefully the combination of the strikers time their runs better over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then the midfielders and defenders start getting those passes off just a half step faster.
100% agree. Watching the game tonight, it's like, man, if we can get these runs timed perfectly, this long ball is going to be so.
And to be clear, I don't really love the long over the top, but the through balls where you're threading the ball between defenders to a place where only your attacker can get to it.
Yes.
I love that play.
Yes, and the long ball thing is a little bit of an umbrella. It's not just, it's got to be in the air, but those long feeding passes, right, where you see that Wagner's running down the wing, right?
Direct tube is exactly where
so this kind of, let's call it the long game. Playing the long game like this, I think if they can get the timing down, like even better tuned, it's going to be so lethal. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as lethal in goal scoring, Carranza's 2 goals earned him a spot on the team of the match day for the match day 15. And in fact, it got him the player of the match day award as the most valuable player for the NYCFC.
Oh, nice.
Curtin was named as the coach of the match day.
Nice.
And Damian Lowe was on the bench.
Good.
Was slated as a bench. So
Carranza was on the bench just like the other week, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So he's moved off the bench.
And now he's won the MVP for the week, basically. So like you said, the Union are in third. They're 1 point behind Nashville, and they're 9 points behind Cincy. So
man, we're closing it.
There's actually not a whole lot of separation behind us, though, so it could be good to get a couple more wins. We gotta start seeing the stratification of the table a bit.
Hopefully, this rise we're on is just hopefully we're just at the beginning, but time will tell.
Yeah.
Again, glad we crashed out.
Unless we went all the way, in which case it's 100% worth it.
Well, we'll see what happens to LAFC. They've got their first game of the Champions League final coming up this week, I think. So Bedoya was still out this week for both of these games.
What was his injury again?
I want to say it was a quad injury, but I don't know. I don't remember where I read that or saw that or heard that.
Any word on how long you might be out?
It was supposed to be a minor, like a grade 1, I think is what Curtin said after, I guess it was the NYCFC game in this press conference. He said that. So hopefully Bedoya will be back soon because we miss him. There's a difference in the team when he's not on the field. Yeah.
I mean, Flock, I've been enjoying Flock out in the field. I think
he feels a lot more comfortable with
it's
him and Martinez and the defensive.
And this must be the problems you want to have, right? It's like, okay, we can't feel Bedoya, we can feel confident putting in Flock, but it is nice having El Capitan out there.
I didn't really have much other than the U20, the US U20s. They went 3, undefeated through group play, didn't give up a goal.
USA.
They finished first in their group. They took on New Zealand yesterday, day before, won that one 4-0. And Brandon Craig has started and played all 4 games for the U.S. McGlynn and Sullivan have played. McGlynn has played in all 4. Sullivan didn't play 4 games, three of the group stage, and then one of the first game of the knockout round.
Oh, so they
already did the first round of the knockout round. And Sullivan didn't get into the field on that one, probably because they were already up 4-0 before they would have made it sub to bring him in. But yeah, so the Union players are contributing. And they've got, I think their next game is Saturday or Sunday that they're playing as the next round in the quarterfinals. This coming Saturday, we've got another game for the Union hosting Montreal at 7:30. Montreal is currently sitting at 19 points. They're in 10th place, just like NYC was before the Union faced them last Saturday. I honestly don't know much about Montreal offhand. I'm not real sure, but I think that this is one of the teams that had, Nancy was their coach last year. Now he's at Columbus. He's at Columbus. They've got a couple of good players, and they gave the Union a game earlier in the season. I remember playing it. Well, that was the one that the Union lost 3-2.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott Saputo, Ora got 2 goals in that game. Yeah, but it wasn't enough. But the Union aren't playing the same way now as they were then.
Nope.
So I gotta say, I like the Union's chances. We'll see whether or not Bedoya is healthy enough for this game, but whether they play the 4-4-2 or the 3-5-2, I do think the Union are going to get at least 2 goals, and I don't think they're going to give anything up. So I'm going to go with a 2-0 Union win.
All right. Yeah, I mean, hopefully the Union can. It's squeezing a lot of games here. It's a high game density right now.
Right now it is, but see, they got a game this Saturday, then they're off until the following Saturday, and then they're off until the 21st. So they got 11 days off after that.
Yeah,
I think it's for the Gold Cup break.
Okay.
Are you retiring from predictions?
Well, no. I said I would, but I
you are nothing if not changeable.
Well, if you guys aren't retiring, then I'm not retiring. So I'm going to go back to the 2-1.
Okay.
I still haven't gotten it.
2-1 Montreal.
Yeah. Come on. What's the name of the podcast?
Voted for
actually, I think we did have one or two where we predicted we would.
Uncle Lee did.
Yeah. No, I think I quickly called it back.
Did you?
I changed it to like a draw.
I think I might have.
Okay.
I think I might have on the non-league
Champions League or the
I think it's more wishful thinking at that time. But I would like to point out that the previous Montreal game was the double VAR game too. I doubt the odds of that. Let's hope there's no more.
What was the double?
They looked at VAR twice on the same.
They VAR.
But on the same play and changed their minds.
Yep.
Which is the only time I've ever seen that happen.
Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Apparently.
All right.
It's not
So
just allowed.
I got 2-0. She's got 2-1.
Like to just go big here, right? I mean, because the world turns on what I predict here. I don't know, right? It's kind of like I feel like the Union are riding this wave right now, and if it's still running on Saturday and people aren't too tired, because it's only 3 days of rest.
It's another packed week.
I could just see them though. Just if they're still riding this wave, I could see them going like 3-0. Like it could just be a.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see some more 6-0 games like we saw last year.
I really like this 3-5-2. These 3 defenders, Glesnes, Elliott, and Loa. They're really effective. And then I guess with Wagner and Vizo kind of moving up and down on their respective wings, it's kind of like we're playing a 5-5-2, right? But you know what? Just to make it exciting, I'm going to say 3-0 Union. Just why not? Why not?
I still got the vote right.
Yeah, you're Nate, you're at the table. You get to throw in your two paces.
I think you are right. We're doing really good right now. We've got like what is it? So it's an 8 undefeated streak like in the MLS, like in league games. And like you're doing really good right now. And I think it's gonna be 3-1. I think that it's gonna be 3-1.
So Montreal's gonna get through our defense.
Huh?
You're saying Montreal's gonna get
no 3-1 Union.
No, but they're gonna get one goal against us, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I think that in the 90 minutes there will probably be a moment where we slip up. Or something happens.
Okay.
Extraneous.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, if it's not one of these 4 goals, it's gonna or 4 predictions, it's gonna be a different one.
All right. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up for this week since it's now June.
Yep.
Happy June, everyone.
Happy June.
So just as a reminder, you can find us at amorephillyunion.com. You can email us at pod@amorephillyunion.com. Twitter, we are amorephillyu. Instagram, YouTube, we are amorephillyunion. You can get our podcast wherever you get yours. So please subscribe, like, comment, spread the word. Help us, help the you. Remember, we're trying to get to 1,000 downloads as fast as we can.
And the faster we get there, the more money goes to the Union Foundation.
There you go. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in for another episode of A More Philly Union. We're your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm C.
I'm Nate.
And I'm E.
Go Union!
This episode of A More Philly Union is brought to you by Wawa.
We wish.
Sponsorship, please.